Hey there folks, Dr. Grimes. Welcome to another semester of the Bachelor of Business Administration HR degree in our online program at GSW. This video is going to be an effort to walk you through the syllabus so that you know what I'm looking for, you know what kind of expectations there are going to be, what kind of work there's going to be. For almost all of the pieces of the grading, the activities that we're going to be doing, I'm going to be producing another video that goes into more depth. But for now, I'm just going to give you the highlight oversight, highlight video, so to speak. Let me share screen and pull up a copy of the syllabus. Go ahead and print your syllabus out of the content section of our online class here and have it there in front of you so you can make notes on it while I'm talking. You'll want to refer back to that later. Now, you should be seeing the syllabus online, and I'm assuming that you've got a copy of it on your desk in front of you. Here is my cell phone number. Text me, call me if you need to. If you text me, remember, I don't have you in my contact list, and quite frankly, I'm probably not going to put you in my contact list. So if you email me twice a month apart, you're going to have to identify who you are each time. So just say, hey, this is Paul, and I'm in your staffing class. That'll be fine. And then go ahead with your questions. I'm in room 214 if you're on campus. I'm in the business building. I'm on the middle floor as you're standing on the street looking at the building, and I have an office that looks out over the lakes. I'm on the back side of the building if you happen to be here. Notice that I'm going to be in my office generally 8:30 in the morning until 1 o'clock. On Tuesdays and Thursdays I have class from 9:30 to 10:45 and from 12:30 to 1:45, but generally speaking, other than when I'm in class, unless I've got a meeting that pops up, I'll be in my office should you want to catch me on my office telephone number. Here's the objectives of the class. Basically speaking, you're going to learn in this class how to write a job description, how to read that job description to find out what you're looking for in an employee, and then how to interview a candidate to see if they meet that job description's requirements. So three main things here. You're going to see that you're going to create the job description. You're going to, we won't do this in any real formal sense, but I'm going to encourage you through a couple of the lectures to think about, based on what this job requires, where would you go to find somebody? Would you go to a headhunter? Would you go to the local Department of Labor? Would you put an ad in the paper or whatever? But recruitment is about figuring out where to go to look. Then I'll get you to create some questions that you would use in an interview, and I will get you to create a tool that you can use to score those people so that you can mathematically show who's the best. And then I'm going to ask you to actually interview people for that job who are in our business communications class. Now, there's a couple of you in this class that are in both of them, so you got a dual load this semester. You're going to be asked to do 2 interviews with other staffing students, and you're going to be asked to conduct about 4 interviews with business communication students. Normally I like to get you out of communications before you get into this, but we haven't gotten the parameters and the blocks built into that yet. So you'll interview some folks for your job, and you'll communicate through the process. Our book that we're going to use is called Strategic Staffing. Let me see, I'm looking around. I think mine is at home right now. It is a cheaper version of something we used to use, but it's still going to be probably 50 or 60 bucks, I think. I forget, but it used to be 160. So it is 4th edition. It is a paperback book, and it's a really good book. We're going to jump around a lot, as you're going to see in the calendar. We don't go chapter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 all the way to 10. We start on 1, go to 7, come back to 4, and so forth. You also need to have 3 access codes for ProctorU. I'm going to talk about that in just a second. Notice that it says to see the note before you purchase anything. You've got to be able to do video conference interviewing, so make sure that your laptop has got a really good camera with a really good microphone built in, because if you can't do these interviews, you're not going to have a very lot of success in passing this class. All right, on to page number 2, the attendance verification. There is a check-in quiz that is linked in the content section of week number 1, worth 5 points. Also want you to record a little video where you introduce yourself, load it to YouTube, and then in the discussion board, put the link to that video. so other people can click on your link, learn about you. I like that better than having you just write a paragraph in the discussion board, because we get to hear your voice, we get to see you, we get to see your mannerisms, and you hear your excitement. So both things you have to do by the end of the day on Tuesday the 24th. Take that check-in quiz and post a video to the discussion board. If you don't do both of those things, I'm probably going to mark, even if you do one but not the other, I'm probably going to mark that you're not participating and you'll be dropped. So do both. All right, as we scroll down here, proctored exams, here's what we're talking about here. The base pricing for the bundle of codes that you get in the bookstore is assuming a 2-hour test. Less than a 2-hour test, it doesn't cost as much per test. My exams are 75 minutes. So you see that if they were going to be 2 hours long, you would be expected to pay more per test than if they're under 2 hours. So as you do the math on these things, the advantage of getting the bundle of codes is that you've got them at the start of the semester and you can use your financial aid. But you're going to pay more per test than if you just bought them individually. So you may choose to use your financial aid, I don't care. Or you may say, this is coming out of pocket or whatever. I'm just going to pay for each test as I log into the test on that day. That's fine. You're not going to be able to use financial aid paying out of pocket. So you make the right decision there. As we get to the grading part of it, the verification activities is only 5% of your grade, but if you don't do that, you don't have the option of doing the rest of the grade. There are 10 quizzes that open up after a chapter has finished, and as you'll read in the chapter quizzes section, every chapter has either 2 or 3 somewhat short videos where I lecture. I don't think that any of them go beyond about 30 minutes or so, but generally they're in the 20 to 30 range. You will need, let's say for example, for chapter 4, there's a part A, a part B, and a part C. You will not even see the quiz in your class until you have looked at all 3 videos. You don't have to watch all videos start to finish. You have to at least start the video so that it registers in GoView that you've started the video. Once you've started the 4A video, the 4B video, and the 4C video, then you'll have the quiz pop up and you can take that quiz. Maybe 10 questions, maybe 6 questions, always worth 10 points. And each of those 10 quizzes will total up to a total of 100 points, and those 100 points, or whatever percentage you get of that, is worth 10% of your final grade. Your job description, I'll give you more information in a separate video in another week or so, but you're going to partner up with somebody in the online class, and both of you will work together to create a job description for a particular job. You'll work together as a partner team to create the job description. At that point, you separate. You will create, so let's say that you and your partner both pick the warehouse clerk. You and your partner will work together to create a job description. But then once the job description is created, you will create your own set of questions for an interview, and she will create her own set of questions. And you won't work together really to do that. You may consult a little bit. I like your question, I like my question, but I don't expect that you're both going to ask the same questions. You're going to create your own what I call hiring matrix. You may work a little bit together. I like that, but I don't expect you to have the same one. You're going to use the questions you think help you the most to hire somebody, and the matrix that you think will help you most to make a decision. And then you'll do interviews with 3 or 4 communication students, and she will do interviews with 3 or 4 other students. So the early part of this is teamwork. All the rest of it is individual. And that interview tools, the 2 things, 100 points each, combine for 15% of your grade. The interviews, you'll do 3 or 4 over a 2-week period, and all together, the process is worth 100 points, but that is almost a third of your total grade in this class, 30%. Then there's 3 exams. The first one is not until close to midterm. Then there's one about a month later, and then the final exam. All 3 are ProctorU, 100 points apiece, and that's 20% of your total grade. I've talked about most of what this says, but again, I will produce a couple of other videos as we get closer. Each of the tests will be open for 3 days. The first 2 start on a Friday, go Saturday, go Sunday, close on Monday night. The final starts on Sunday, goes Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Got to get a C to count this class towards graduation. If you're an HR major, This is going to be really, really helpful because you'll be probably doing a lot of screening for your managers and doing many interviews to see who they talk to. If you're a manager, you're going to have to interview people to hire for your team. So knowing how to do it is going to be really important. So this is a good class for HR people and management people. What do we do about cheating? What do you do if you have a disability? Here's a section that's new that we've been encouraged to put. Everybody has times occasionally where they just need to talk to somebody. And mental health isn't necessarily an illness or a diagnosis, but I'm just struggling a little bit right now. If you need to talk to somebody confidentially, you can look at any of these options that you see right here. There we are, there's my cursor. Right here, you can call those numbers. It's free for GSW students. Use of email, classroom policies. I don't like getting late work because when I sit down to grade job descriptions, I want to do all of them. And if I've got 38 out of 40 and 2 of them come in a week later, I've already finished all the rest of them, and I'm in the middle of something. I got to go back, get that frame of mind, and grade there. So I really want it all at the same time. You've got a long time to work on most of this stuff. So try to get it in on time. If an emergency gets in the way of that, and an emergency is not I forgot to do it, or I lost my book for a week, but an illness or something like that, let me know as soon as possible. I will let you turn in one thing a little bit late, but if it starts to become a regular thing, it's zeros. All right, let's see here. Subject to change, class dates. This is a good page to print out. Here's the windows for the 3 exams. Here's the last possible appointment you can make with ProctorU. Here's when job descriptions are due, a first draft and a second draft. The first draft gets graded, the second draft does not. Dates and times for interviews. I'm going to talk more about that later. Interview questions and matrix, who you're going to hire, and so forth. And here's the schedule. Generally speaking, we're going to look at 2 sections of the book each week. In next week, for example, nothing this week except for doing the check-in quiz and hello discussion was actually due next week. Next week, we'll look at Chapter 1, Chapter 7, and Chapter 4A. Quiz number 1 is going to cover Chapter 7. Then you'll have the following week sections 4B and 4C, and then you'll see quiz 2 when you've looked at the videos for all of those things. Week number 4. Chapter 4 is about how to do a job description. You're going to be picking your partner and your job during that time frame. You're going to have all of week 4 to do nothing but work on your job description. So there's no new material, there's no video lectures. You'll just work one-on-one with your partner to develop that job description, which is then due on the Sunday the 12th. And that week we'll look at 2 new sections of the book on interviewing, and then we'll look at the 3rd section of interviewing and take the 3rd quiz and so forth. You see where the first exam is down here in this time frame, and the 2nd exam is down here in this time frame, and then the final is this week. The interviews are going to be sometime during this. So again, I'll tell you more about it as we get closer. But that's an overview of the main things you need to be expecting from the syllabus. If you have questions, go to our class, to the discussion boards, and find the Ask Dr. Grimes. Post a question on there, send me a text, send me an email, whatever the case may be, and I'll try to answer that in a way that other people who might have the same question get the answer as well. I'm going to leave it for now. That's about 13 minutes, but that's, I think, a reasonable overview of the syllabus, what I expect, what you're going to do. I know you've got questions about the individual pieces. Like I said, I'm going to record some more videos where I go into more depth, and I try to go really overboard in the assignments narrative so that you know exactly what it is that I'm looking for and how you do well. I hope you're excited about learning how to interview. Some of the things we're going to talk about you probably will never see in the real world. Hiring matrix, maybe not ever, but if you kind of know how to quantify what you're looking for, you're going to have better success at hiring good people. So I hope that you're excited about it, whether you're an HR major or a management major, and you're ready to get into this to learn something that's really, really practical. Bye for now.